Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quad. We're back at it again with another amazing podcast. We are right in the middle of our pancreatic cancer fundraiser podcast marathon. We have our next guest joining us. We have Not Leaving Sober. How's it going today, y'all?
Howdy, Todd. What's up, brother?
Not a whole lot. Just kind of hanging out, doing my thing. Podcasting.
Yep.
Yeah. How's everything going? You guys are from New Jersey, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How's everything going there?
It's good. It's pretty good. We're getting a little bit of Indian summer right now, so we're enjoying the weather.
Nice. Now, where in New Jersey are you all based out of? Asbury Park, right? Or
yeah, we're right on the beach. We're 3 blocks from the ocean. Asbury Park's a really cool town. It's like I said, a beach town. A lot of amazing art, a lot of amazing music. Great nightlife. Some really sick bars.
Nice.
The place to be. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. Fun fact: you are the third interview this year from Asbury Park.
Really? Who else did you talk to?
A guy by the name of Chris Gullis.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then there was a husband-wife duo. I met him in Nashville. The name's slipping my head right now, but yeah, it was a husband-wife duo.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Chris Gullis, we've seen his name. I haven't actually met him yet, but
yeah. His big story was that he went to school with Bam Bam Bigelow's kid.
Oh shit!
I was like, "Hey, I love wrestling, so you said Bam Bam Bigelow. I'm interested. Let's go." So, so how's everything been going? I know you guys have been. Feel like we've been talking about this album for a very long time.
Yeah, we've been working on it for long, man. Pretty much all the singles that we've already released will be on this album, and we've been working on music religiously for like 4 years now. So. All those singles will be on there. 5 new singles, unreleased, unheard by anybody. Really exciting stuff because we've only ever put out singles. So 5 new songs at the same time is really exciting for us and gives us a lot to play with.
It's more comforting too. Almost like kind of like a surprise. Like, hey, you waited this long. Here's 5 more for you.
That's a good point.
Right. Nice. Yeah, I appreciate you guys sending me over the SoundCloud link. I was listening to it in between a few of my other interviews. And all of a sudden I hear like a ad start playing. And I'm like,
good old SoundCloud.
I was like, man, SoundCloud's really changed in the last like 5 years. So
yeah.
Now they got the SoundCloud Pro and they want you to pay for it. So if you don't, you're going to get hit with the ad.
I paid for it for a little bit, but then I was like, I don't use it enough. I'm not going to pay for it. So
I get it.
So how long have you been working on this project?
Honestly, it's been more than 4 years. 4 years ago, just about 4 years ago, we put our first single out. It was called Beer Run. It was about, it's a song that really, really means a lot to us. It comes from deep within the heart. When we wrote it, we were at a party and we were out of beer. And we went to the liquor store and we got more and we saved the party.
Yeah. That's the day, essentially.
Please tell me you made a music video depicting all that.
We sure
Oh, we did. Yes.
Okay.
Our drummer's in-laws own a liquor store in town, so they like let us go buck wild at their liquor store for the video.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the one thing I miss about where I grew up is I knew about 2 or 3 people that their families owned liquor stores, and it was just like
that's sick.
It's always a convenient luxury. So
hell yeah. We were at TJ's our drummer. We were at his house the other day for a little fire, and his wife went to go pick up beer, and she comes back and he goes, "How much do I owe?" And she goes, "No, they took care of it." I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. And so you said it's been over 4 years for this album. What was kind of the original thought process when you sat down? Did you know it was originally going to be like a big project, or was it just kind of like you were putting music together?
It was a little bit of both, to be honest with you. So when we first started chaining songs up and started writing the songs, it was always like, hey, we can put out the singles and get like people's attention, but let's save them for an LP eventually. And then as I'm sure you know, we're still playing like a lot.
Yeah.
And then May would come, and then out of nowhere we would just have no time to go to the studio. So it's been a long time coming, but we're also learning. We were learning like the rules of like, okay, go to the studio during your off time. Now it's May, like now it's summer. So now you can't go to the studio. So it's all about what we learned and what I learned a lot about is like time
management.
Yeah, time management, time balance.
We learned the hard way too.
Yep.
Right. You know, it's one of those things where it's just like you think that you're going to have all this time to get a project together, and then you kind of realize, oh crap, we've got to go like finance this somehow. So we got to go play gigs, and
Yep.
especially being on the East Coast, there's like, I mean, I'm sure that you could play all year round, but I'm sure like the winter time, it's not as fruitful as it would be during the summertime.
You're spot
You're
on.
spot on.
Yep. There's like a great migration as soon as September hits. So like in the summer, we play down the shore like madmen, and there's no shortage of places to play. And then as soon as September hits, the shore disappears. I mean, there's no bars to play down there. And then it's all North Jersey, like up near New York City. So,
Yeah.
And it's a whole different ball game too.
And then in the middle of the summer, there's some weeks where we're doing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then sometimes even Sunday. So then you're looking at like a full-time kind of commute. Yeah.
And is music your full-time deal, or?
No, we actually both bartend.
Okay.
And then the other guys in the band have either they're doing side gigs, or one of them, our drummer TJ, has a full-time job as a mechanic at Ford. So
nice.
I don't know how he juggles everything. It's absolutely insane.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you're passionate about it, you find a way. Like that's the end of it right there. So
that's the truth, man.
Yeah.
I always say it's music's something you have to love to do because it doesn't pay well.
Mhm.
Until you get to the big leagues, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't pay well enough to just do it for the money. You have to absolutely love
it. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. It's I was talking to somebody from Nashville not long ago, and they were telling me that the music industry is set up to pay everybody but the singer, I think, or the singer or the musician. Because it's like you go to the play gig, you got to pay out your bandmates, you got to pay out the guitar play, you know, like all that stuff. You go to the studio, you got to pay out your session guys, you got to pay out your producers, and then at the end of the day, it's like, cool, I've got nothing.
That's a great point. I think it's like, dude, it's like owning a small business, right? Like when you start off and you have people jump on the team to help you, they have to get paid before you, even though it's your baby, because their job's to make sure it runs well, and you'll make money later if you do it right. So it feels like that. Our boys in the band are like best friends of ours, so we kind of all do what we can for each other, and we've all made a ton of sacrifices financially, time-wise, to make it work. That helps a lot when you got a group of guys who believe in what we're doing together.
Yeah.
Sure. How'd you guys come together? How did Not Living Sober come together?
Me and Jimmy met through friends a little over 10 years ago, probably, but it was actually at karaoke. And
we're getting like 13 years.
We're getting old, dude.
Yeah.
So we were I was hosting karaoke at Red Oak in Hazlitt, and Jimmy lived in Hazlitt, came out with some buddies. I think we started singing some songs together, and then eventually went on to host karaoke at our local bar for a while. And then we do a lot of harmonizing together. And I was like, I think singing with this guy makes singing so easy, and also it always sounds good. So we were like, maybe we should write some shit. That's what happened. Yes, we were a duo for a few years, and then we thought it was pretty stupid that we had so many talented musician friends that we hadn't brought in yet. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, we said, it was like really during COVID, we were like, let's go big with this. Let's try our hardest. So at the end of the day, we can at least see how far we could get.
Nice. And how'd you get the name Not Leaving Sober? I'm guessing it kind of tracks into the bartending and all that fun stuff, but yeah.
I forget how we got that name. I'm pretty sure we were writing down ideas. It was like you and I at the table, like just writing and scribbling names back and forth. And then we finally like settled on that.
It was not on a whim. It was like 2 or 3 hours of sitting there, going through names, crossing names out. I'm really happy we settled on it, because I think it ended up being like a really great way to brand ourselves. The t-shirts, like I always make this joke on stage, we give away a t-shirt at like most of our shows, and we'll say, if you follow us on Instagram, and I'm always like, even if you think we suck, the t-shirt's still pretty cool. And it just, people buy the shirt before they hear us a lot of the time, because it's a shirt you could just wear at a bar and people would laugh at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice.
up in New Hampshire, it was hilarious because we were opening for Hardy and Morgan Wallen the one year. And like we're on like hours before main stage even goes on. And then we get this big 2 hour break to go see the main stage act,
Yeah.
So we're in the crowd, and then I bump into somebody and he's wearing our t-shirt, and I'm like, "Oh, hey man, nice shirt." He's like, "Thanks. I'm pretty sure they were the band that played before." And I'm like, "Yeah, cool. I'm glad you
Nice.
like the shirts."
I thought you were going to say it was like Morgan Wallen just sitting in the crowd,
That'd be really rad.
rocking the t-shirt, That's funny.
I wish.
No, good.
No, I was just saying, I wish.
Yeah, fair. I imagine as you guys are sitting there, it's like that scene out of The Dirt, the Motley Crue biopic thing.
Oh,
where,
yeah,
where
yeah.
they're sitting there at the coffee table, just like, oh, that name sucked, all that shit. So,
Honestly, it was kind of like that, man.
It was very much so like that.
so we'll be expecting the biopic here in about another 30 years.
I really hope
Oh, I'm
so.
down.
I
Yeah.
hope so.
Nice.
Does that mean we did something right if they're making one about us? Right?
Or something terribly wrong.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Or something terribly wrong. So, I had to throw it out there. So you said you guys met 13 years ago, right? Or
Yeah, it's getting close to it.
nice. And you guys haven't killed each other. That's good.
No.
Oh, no.
Jimmy's pretty easy to get along with. We're actually roommates too.
Same, dude.
It's us two and our other best friend Joe.
Yeah.
Really good time.
Yeah.
Nice. So with Not Leaving Sober, you've got your new project. Have you set a date for it yet, or where are you kind of at on that aspect?
Yep.
Yeah, the album drops December 6th.
Nice.
And then we're doing an album release party a week later. We wanted to separate them by about a week to let our fans and our people listen to the new music. So by the time they get to the show, hopefully they know the new songs.
And it's a fun fact because we brought this up. It's funny because we released the music on the 6th, which is a Friday. We're not going to be anywhere near any of our friends and family. We're going to be on the other side of the country in San Diego. So we're going to release it and then probably just be hearing people listening to it and stuff like that on this.
Nice.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yes. What are you guys doing out in San Diego? Or is that where you're doing your gig, or?
No, so we have two shows out there at Moonshine Flats.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a club out there that's primarily country music. Awesome, pretty much like college bar. We played there last year. There's a great guy named Keith who helped us get these gigs. Pretty much landed us the gig and then paid for our spot to stay out there out of the kindness of his heart and no other reason. It was really, really fun last year. So we can't wait to go back. And it was my first time in San Diego. I think it was all of our first times in San Diego, and it was unbelievable.
Nice.
Yeah, it was.
I remember the last time I did something like that where I just went somewhere because somebody invited me and then they put me up somewhere. I ended up in a house that had just been raided by the cops.
Perfect.
and the door had been kicked in, so there was no front door.
Oh, what?
And his power had been shut off, so there was no. So this is New Mexico on the 4th of July.
Oh.
So he had no power, no electricity, no front door. And I was like, okay, luckily I had a group of friends, so it wasn't like that weird.
Yeah.
But it was one of those deals where it's like, I'm kind of half tempted to just go sleep in the car and then.
Can't blame you. It would feel safe, maybe.
Right. So
what were you doing there?
Well, so I lived in Roswell for a good little bit, and then we had got this was towards the end of my time there. There was a couple of friends that we had made. They were a punk reggae band from Minnesota, and they were doing they wanted us to do a tour documentary about them. They were doing a tour from Roswell, New Mexico. So their kickoff was Roswell, New Mexico. They were playing Alien Fest.
Nice.
And then they had like a week-long tour, and they were ending in Vegas. And it was the first ever weed comic book convention. So it was like the weekend that Vegas had fully legalized or something.
Wow, that must have been wild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And so we one of the nights was like up in northern New Mexico, like way up north, and the guy it was in Las Vegas, New Mexico, which is very funny, but
Mexico.
Oh, I didn't know that place.
Oh yeah. And he brought us in, and it was just like, okay. Luckily, there was like 8 of us sitting in or sleeping in the living room, so I felt somewhat safe. But
Right, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, that's decent.
yeah. So it's like if somebody comes in, they're not going to trip over me. They're going to trip over the 4 people sleeping in front of me. So
And then at least you'd
Yeah.
hear them come in and have a chance to escape or fight them or something.
oh yeah, I had something in my pocket to take care of it if I needed to. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
understand.
nice.
But you're still,
Oh
so that's good.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'm always prepared in that situation.
Mhm.
So but yeah, no, that's really cool. I'm glad you guys are finally, because like we had mentioned, it's been a long time coming. I feel like we started talking about a year and a half ago, maybe.
Probably.
That sounds. It's been so long. I thought we've had you on the podcast, and going back through the logs really quick, it's like nope, definitely haven't. So
We've just spoken a lot. That's all.
fair. So with as you guys are kind of approaching the deadline, obviously you're a month exactly away from the release date.
Oh yeah, check that out.
We brought that up today, actually.
Nice. What's kind of running through your mind right now with like this long runway of time? Yeah.
There is so much more to do than we thought there would be. Which is why I'm glad. I think we left enough time to do this right.
Mhm.
But we've been like every free minute, just getting together and writing out a to-do list and writing out plans for marketing this. And the album release show itself became its own beast and selling tickets to that. But it's so much fun. It really is. Like all this stuff is very exciting because it's leading to this goal that we've had for so long.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it
Yes.
got delayed for so long, it makes it even more special. I'm happy that it did get delayed. Like you know this because we talked
Yeah.
to you about it over a year ago.
Yeah.
It got delayed because it was like, all right, we have 8 singles out. We're like pretty close to having the album done. And then we were like, we're going to record a few more. So when we release it, there's new stuff for people to hear. And then we'd record a few more and we go, let's do a few more. And then, so all of a sudden time passes quickly, especially with something like that. Songs don't get a day. Not the way we do it anyway. So
no.
yeah.
I mean, you guys are getting there. Like it's definitely a work in progress, and I think people are going to really kind of notice that once the full project is out.
Yeah.
So how's it? Obviously, with it being so long from like birth to now, you're at the finish line. How many retakes have you had to do of these songs? Like, have you had to go in and kind of redo them every once in a while, or is it like has everything been pretty consistent all the way through?
So I actually, for the last 5 or 6 songs that we did and completed, I actually felt very good. There's a lot to be said about like pre-production and like doing your homework, and that falls on all 5 like musicians and individuals. And this, I'll be honest, I've been like recording since I've been in high school, but this was the first time where it was like there was a battle plan. And then it was like, all right, let's run this play, practice your songs, get your shit together. And actually, for the last 5 or 6 songs, it went very smooth. Yeah. So.
And there was a lot of paying attention to detail and making sure everything was done right from the beginning, kind of like what Jimmy said. But that also involved bringing in people who were better at these things than us. We weren't like, no, we're going to set up studio in our closet and try to use a program that we have no experience at to record it and mix it. So we went, our buddy, he lives about an hour away. So, but he's great and he's very helpful and he knows what he's doing. We went to his studio. He recorded every single one of these songs. And then we brought in a mix engineer from Nashville that he hit us up during COVID. It was so weird because he wasn't busy because nobody was recording. And became friendly with him, started sending all our stuff to him. And actually during the COVID lockdown, he flew out here, or in here, I should say. He's out. And stayed with us for a few days. We had never met him or anything, so thank God he wasn't a murderer. But he came in, he recorded the songs with us, mixed them while he was there, and they came out so good. So once we found a process that works to make them sound as good as they possibly can, it saved a lot of time. And sonically, they're pretty cohesive.
They're very cohesive.
It's Obviously I haven't had a chance to listen to the full album yet, but I've got through a good little bit of it as I was kind of jumping through, and I definitely dig where it's going, and as I get the opportunity to, I can't wait to hear the full thing.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
We're really
Yeah.
excited for you to hear it.
Yeah. So, with all that being said, you'd mentioned that you've got the shows up in San Diego coming up. Are you guys playing pretty consistently right now, or because it's November, everything's just kind of?
If
Pretty consistent.
Yeah, it's
Honestly.
still pretty consistent. We like just try to pick and choose which shows we want to do in summer because it's so busy, and in the fall it's a little easier to just take most of what comes our way.
Yeah.
But we've been a little more selective right now too, just to give ourselves time to actually plan for the album.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you don't want to torch yourself out for the album. Like, you don't want people to be like, "Oh, I just heard them over here or whatever." And I don't.
We
Yeah.
learned that the hard way over the years too. Just like
Yep.
you can't play your hometown 4 times a month because people will go, "I'll catch you next time," and
Yeah.
you want every place you play to be like, "Wow, they packed it out."
Right.
So
That was a lesson that I learned from a booker or a promoter. Because when I was living out in New Mexico, there's this venue out there that would always, just kind of, uh, he would bring in like regional acts or whatever,
Mm.
and then he would have like a local opener, like whoever of the local bands like fit kind of the bill. So if it was a heavier band, like a
Yeah.
metal or a punk, whatever. But he always had in the agreement that you couldn't play a show in town 30 days before or after
yeah.
the venue, because like, I mean, I don't know how it is in New Jersey, but I'd imagine it's not I'd imagine Asbury Park's not a very big city.
Oh, it's very small.
Very small. Okay.
Square mile, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things where it's like, um, I get it where it's like you don't want to play yourself out, but I never understood that. And then he kind of explained it to me. He's like, yeah, if you're gonna go play over at Antigua's for free in 2 weeks, they're not gonna come here to see you play.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when we're paying or charging like $25 or whatever, because he's got Seether coming in, and it's like, but like if you're going to that show, you're going to see Seether. You're not going to see the local opener,
That's true.
No, for sure. For sure.
So,
But we learned so many things by just being thrown to the wolves. And I'm so glad that it was always on a smaller scale where it was okay to mess up and learn.
mhm.
That way, when it came to like playing some bigger venues that we do now, we know how to handle it and how to get a turnout. And so we're lucky we got some practice.
And actually, believe it or not, in like our entire career, this album release party is the first ticketed show that we've ever like done. Like we've
Oh, nice.
we've never had to move tickets. It was never like a struggle. So we're excited for that, but we're also kind of like, all right, let's see what we can drum up,
Fair. It's actually so the internet kind of dropped off a little bit. I thought you said it was your first picketed show. I thought people were picketing the show.
We've had many of those.
No, we've been the picketers too.
Like the audio or whatever just kind of dropped off, and I thought for whatever reason all I heard was picketed show, and I was like,
Perfect
wait,
timing.
what the hell? Oh man, you guys are that edgy at your shows? So no, that's cool. So you said the full band's 5 members. Who all are the other 3 members that aren't here with us right now?
So you got Ronnie, that's our lead guitarist, the madman, the man who sold his soul to play rock and roll. He's incredible. When he sleeps over here, we have to tell him shut the hell up at 6 a.m. because he's just playing guitar all of the time if he's not sleeping.
Yep.
He falls asleep with the guitar in his hand. Our bassist is Jerry, really dedicated dude who just has he was born with a musical mind, and he comes up with fantastic bass lines for every song and gives us a lot of groove.
Yeah.
And we mentioned him before, but TJ is
Yeah.
the drummer, the heartbeat, the pulse. And
Nice.
him and Ronnie joined the band at the same time because when we were putting together like the super group, him and Ronnie were like the two like obvious choices, and they both were like, "Yeah, I'm down for it." So it's like,
Nice.
yeah,
They were the first and second round draft picks, or the
yeah,
first
yes,
round.
exactly. Yep.
If we're gonna go sports related there, that's funny. And so it's been the same lineup all the entire time.
The only thing we've ever switched in and out was the bass. TJ and Ronnie have been there from Jump Street,
Yep.
and we've had 3 bassists. Jerry's the longest running bassist, and hopefully he's here to stay.
Nice.
Yeah, he's tenured in. We're working on his long-term contract.
That's right.
Fair. 15 years. What was it? 15 years, 600, 700 million or whatever that Shohei got paid.
Shohei got
My
it.
God.
Oof.
Man, it's like, I just want 200,000 and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
I want to live comfortably. That's it.
Yeah. 200,000. I'm good. And I'll wipe up the spit or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, oh man.
Good.
No, that's cool. Because, especially with a band, it's hard to, I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, but it's so hard to keep a band together. So it's always kind of interesting to see how much the lineup's changed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always try to remind myself to appreciate our circumstances, because we are all friends. We all try to understand each other, and we all make a lot of sacrifices to make this go. So big time.
Fair. Nice. So outside of music, what do you guys get into?
We drink,
Sometimes heavily.
No, I mean, like I said, we both work at bars. We do enjoy bar hopping. I'm a big fantasy football guy.
Yeah.
That's one of my very favorite hobbies.
How's your team doing this year?
They suck, dude. And I've drafted such a good team, and it just hasn't gone. Like, I've had some unlucky losses. If you play, you know how it goes.
Oh yeah. I'm in 2 leagues.
Yeah.
One of them, I'm just hoping to make the playoffs because see, the issue is it's a 20-team league. So like you're so deep into the roster. Like once you get out of like round 8, you have to like know the roster so deep. And it's like, man, it's like I drafted Anthony Richardson and he's benched for the year. And it's like, luckily I was smart enough. Like I knew like, okay, first 3 rounds, you're taking 2 quarterbacks because you ain't gonna get another one. And so luckily I picked up Geno Smith and he's kind of being the savior right now. So
we're smart about Richardson because he gets hurt every other game.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then my work one, I'm murdering it right now. Like I'm 7-1 and
for you.
It's so weird because we have an odd number of teams. And so like there's half of the league, they got like 2 bye weeks.
Wow.
It's because it was really weirdly set up, but
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sort of a 20-team league. That's why I have a 14-team league, and everybody tells me, "Oh my God, how do you even do it?" But there's no free agency. There's nobody there.
Yeah. Well, the one at work, that's a 14-team league, and like it's not bad, but the thing that throws the entire situation off is you got all these guys that think the 14-team league is like, oh my God, we got to take quarterbacks and we got to take them early. It's like, no, just sit with the draft and just kind of go with the flow of the draft. You're going to be fine. Like a 14-team league, yeah, it's big, but it's not it's not like insanely large. Like last year we had an 18-team league and that was nuts. Like, so I just kind of sat with the draft. I made chancy picks when I needed to. Like if I was sitting there and there's a bunch of tight ends and it's like, I've already got 2 tight ends. I need a wide receiver. So I'd go down a little bit, but
working out.
Oh yeah. My team right now is, man, the only thing is my depth is kind of running away on me because like I lost Stephon Diggs, Alvin Kamara, very hit or miss right now if he's going to be healthy, and Jaden Daniels is
risky.
Yeah. So, we'll see.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's cool. This is the second time today I've talked about fantasy football.
I can talk about a lot.
I know. It's like I was talking to a buddy about it earlier, and we were talking about the league last year, and um, I was every game that I lost was by like less than a point.
Yeah.
So it was like so close. And then at the end of the year,
Terrible.
at the end of the year, everybody's like, "Oh, you're so bad at this." I was like, "No, I just like if I was getting blown out every week, that's one thing. But like I had like 6 losses. I still
It's
made the playoffs, so like I was cool, but I had 6 losses, and I think the point differential on those 6 losses was like 4 points or something. Like,
thing.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
It
like
kills,
whatever.
it kills you. Like I'm in my league that I think I'm 3-6, and I'm the third highest scoring team in the league. So
Yeah.
I just happen to be playing the best team every single week somehow.
Yeah.
So,
It's I got a buddy that's doing that. Like he's second to only me in total points,
wow.
but he's like he's second to me only in total points, but he's like 3-6 or 3-5 or something like that.
What?
And he like you go look at the points against, and he's like way above everyone else. And it's like, dude, you caught the shit end of the stick on this one. Like he's like, man, my team's just not performing. It's like, dude, you're scoring 122 points every week. There, what do you mean you're not performing? Your team is like amazing. You're just everyone's catching you on a bad week. So
it happens.
yeah, but it is what it is. So kind of looking forward, obviously you got the album coming out in a month exactly. And then you got the show afterwards. What's kind of the thought process heading into 2025? Are you already looking at shows, or what are you thinking?
We definitely booked quite a few shows for next year already. Definitely more music. We'll be working on new singles pretty much as soon as this album comes out. Maybe take a few weeks to chill, but we've already got them.
Yeah,
we're already writing them. So, because kind of getting this album ready was tricky. It was putting these 5 new songs together and getting them recorded and laid down. Took a lot of time, so we weren't releasing singles in the meantime. We hadn't put a single out in about a year.
mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure that after this, we're releasing new music consistently.
Yeah.
We're also going to take the summer and do what like a lot of the big acts do, and like use the summer to promote the shit out of this album.
Yeah.
Like, hey, have you heard, like, we dropped it, like, yada, 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 this, that, the other thing, like, please check it out. Like,
Oh yeah.
Almost Sober tour. Yeah. So.
Are you guys going to be playing up and down the East Coast, or are you going to try and come a little bit more west as well?
We would love to go west. We've talked about it before. I mean, we've like tried to do like research about like a lot of like the Midwestern states and stuff like that. I've always wanted to go to Texas, so we're gonna try and get down there.
Let me know. It's so funny because I've been trying to help book some of the like not help book venues, but like when somebody puts out a show, I like take down note of what venue they're playing at. Like any of my buddies or friends down here, it's like, oh, I didn't know they did music, but okay, take that note down. And so when anybody ever asks, it's like, oh, okay, here, like my buddy played this show. This is the type of music he plays,
Oh, that's good.
So it's just kind of like I keep it as a mental note. And I've talked to the last few people, and they're like, yeah, I tried to get a hold of them, but nobody ever gets back to me. And I was like, huh. Okay. And I didn't quite understand it until I tried to book out some stuff for myself, doing like live podcasting and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like the venues don't get back to me. And it's like, well, what the hell, guys? Like, do you
I know.
Yeah.
like, am I missing something here, or is it just get kicked to spam mail or what? So
I don't know. I'm kind of a squeaky wheel. Like, my philosophy is always, if somebody doesn't answer, hit them up again. Most of the time, people they didn't have any sort of issue with you. They were just busy or something.
Yeah.
And sometimes people never answer. It's a lot of throwing shit at the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then there's this place in Alabama, which is kind of interesting. They have an online sign up form. So basically, you just fill out this form. You tell them the band name, like what you're doing, all this stuff. And then you tell them like a date or a range of dates that you want to try and play. and then they just ignore you, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Yeah.
what's the point of this? Like, there's no reason for this. So
Almost like when you're filling those out, you feel like you know they're not hitting you back up. You're almost like, why am I doing this?
right,
Yeah.
and that's why I try when I had that set up, like especially during the beginning of the pandemic, I had so much, like I was working remotely, and I just had so much extra free time that I was like, okay, I knew from A to B I was going to be working.
Right.
But if I just pre-programmed the form to be like, okay, I have these times available and these times available, musicians would come in, fill the form out, be like, okay, yes, Wednesday the 5th, 7 p.m. I got it. Cool. Boom. It's confirmed. It sends you a confirmed email. I get a little thing. You just booked a podcast. I'm like, sick. And then I find out, like, as I get going, then all of a sudden I've got like 4 podcasts in one day. And it's like, shit, I need to control this a little bit. Need to control. So, but it was a whole learning experience.
Yeah, for sure.
So awesome.
We did the same thing. Like I was saying before, we kind of had to learn not to say yes to every single gig we got offered.
Yeah.
Then sometimes you book a place that maybe doesn't pay that well, or it's not that rewarding of a show, and then you get offered something better later, and you can't really cancel on the other place.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I do want to thank y'all so much for joining us on our pancreatic cancer fundraiser. It's
Thank you for having us.
I'm glad this was the tipping point to get you guys on finally. So
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. It was good to talk to you, man.
yeah, absolutely. So if anybody wants to check out your music, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
We are on Spotify and Apple Music. Those are the 2 big ones. We got a lot of stuff on YouTube. And then if anybody wants to see the hijinks that normally happens during the week, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
Nice. You guys you aren't doing that on TikTok? I feel like that stuff would kill on TikTok.
We're on TikTok.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It's one of those things where it's like my brain is always in promo mode, so it's like TikTok. That stuff needs to be on TikTok, guys.
That's the place, because that's where things blow up. So
right. Yeah. We won't even get into that conversation, but
that's for another time.
right. Different conversation. There needs to be beer involved, and then the filters start coming off. So
I like it. Next time that'll be unfiltered.
Live. How about live from Asbury Park?
Live from Asbury Park.
I like that.
Nice.
We'll provide.
All right. We'll get it on the books. We'll figure it out. 2025, it's coming. But once again, thank you all so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will be back here in a little bit with our next guest.